never really had a dream job when I was a kid. I guess I wanted to be a fireman, but every boy wants to be a fireman. My name is Ryan. I'm married. We have a 6-year-old and a 9-month-old. I've been unemployed for 4 months, and before that, 2 years. Beth makes all the money. I look after the kids. We were comfortable when I worked at Fairway Electric, but when business slowed down, I got laid off. Beth takes care of all of us.
I'm Janet. I'm 47 years old, married. I got laid off 2 years ago. Now I work for the Department of Public Works. It's a part-time job, funds available, so that means every couple of months we have to reapply for funding. It's okay pay, but it's only part-time. So I took this other part-time job at a warehouse packing boxes. I'm trying to think of the word. I keep thinking beneath me, and it's not, and I don't want to say beneath me because that sounds really bad. It's beneath me, but I need the money. I make $8 an hour, work 16 hours a week. I need $1,800 a month for my husband and I to survive.
My name is Andy. I'm 59 years old. I'm married. Both me and my wife are unemployed. I used to fancy myself as an accounts payable guy, but it seems like I've been doing everything but accounting. I have $60 in my pocket. That's all I got left until the next job comes along. I've had security jobs. I've handed out flyers. Whatever job I apply to and I get, I do. There's basically 2 online job sites. They basically have the same jobs over and over again. A lot of them are handled by employment agencies, so you don't even know what companies are hiring. They're getting resumes every day from millions of people for jobs. Half the resumes they get, they just dump. I think the internet has made looking for work really hard, for me at least.
Applying online has elements that have made employment easier, but there are definite elements that have made it worse. I mean, we have people here who've applied to 300-400 jobs. It's almost like they went through every job posting and said, oh, I'll apply to everything and keep my fingers crossed. Come on, this is ridiculous. You start to see the same person over and over again. A hiring manager could post a job for 5 days and collect 200 applications. Boom. Now, I've kind of measured what it takes to go through that kind of volume. Are you really going to read through all of those 200 resumes? So you start scanning for what they do have. I'd love to see someone with higher education experience. Boom, 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 boom. I got 200 down to 15. But guess who got screened out of jobs they totally could have done? 190 other people. Like that.
I apply all the time. Well, Beth uses a computer at her job and applies for jobs for me. And sometimes I get calls from employers. I don't even know who they are. Well, the first thing I did when I got laid off was figure out what we have that we don't need. I got rid of the TV, the Rent-A-Center TV, and then we got rid of the car payment. But I need a car now, so I'm about to get a beater and see if I can get that fixed. That's another thing I do too. I'm not like an actual mechanic, but I see something that's wrong with the car, I go to YouTube and I teach myself how to fix it. I resurface floors and I also paint apartments for my landlord because I only get $150 a week from unemployment, but I need to make more money without them finding out. Well, I started coaching youth sports, so basically Little League. And when I wasn't working, I ran the leagues. At first, I just started because I needed something to do. I started feeling some kind of fulfillment from it, you know?
Why don't you add the coaching experience to your resume?
Over the past year, I filled out 3,000 applications, a lot of them with the same employers. I've been getting a lot of no's. I'm beginning to wonder if there's really a job out there for me.
We try not to have overqualified or underqualified people. There's a tiny sweet spot there. And in HR, we're trying to broaden it.
I was always the type of person, if I saw a girl that I liked, my first reaction was, why should I talk to her? because she's just going to reject me. And that was my attitude about looking for work too. Sometimes I go to interviews thinking I'm not going to get the job. I applied for a couple jobs at department stores. And this one lady, after the interview, she told me, you need to be more assertive. And it's like, you're looking for a yes ma'am, basically. On job applications, they ask you the date I graduated from high school. It's like, what does that matter now? I'm 59 years old. Who cares when I graduated from high school?
If someone wasn't the perfect fit, but I felt like they had a lot to bring to the table, we were able to bring them in. But now, the hiring managers, they think they want to wait for the perfect fit. There's all this available talent out there, they believe. So what you have is a bad marriage between this big corporate recruiting machine and all these unemployed people. You need people that can meet with the prospectives face to face, get to know them, understand their background. But that doesn't happen a lot. I would say 30% of our hires are referrals, knowing someone. I love it when someone knows someone. That just gives me the confidence to just skip a whole stack.
I'd say the longer I look for a job, the more willing I am to take anything. You don't feel confident or positive that any of these jobs will get back to you because they figure, why haven't you been working this long? I worked there 12 years, why do I have to start a new job right away? But they don't look at it that way. They want you working.
Well, yeah, a long gap in employment does raise questions. I need to know why. What have you been doing with your time? Show me a conference, side projects. Are you volunteering? Show me something.
My brother took me under his wing and I ended up working with him at Reynolds as an accountant. He showed me the ropes and even trained me firsthand on how to use Retail Pro. I worked there for 12 years. I'm not good at this hiring process. It feels demeaning, but I am consistent. I've held jobs for 5 years, 7 years, 9 years, 12 years at a time. I'm loyal.
I grew up in foster care in Cleveland and finally found my dad when I was 17. I lived with him for a year and then he kicked me out. I met my wife and we started a family. I'm not that good with books, but I'm good working with my hands. And I love working really hard, especially if it's outdoors. I'm kind of ADD, so I really hate not having work to do. I can't imagine not being busy. I don't think everyone's like me. Not many people like being truly busy.
My husband left me when I was in college and took my 2 daughters with him. I fell into a depression and wrote these bad checks. I was caught. After, I decided to straighten my life out. I'm complicated. Yes, I've had problems that test me with credit and a criminal background, but it's behind me, over 20 years behind me. My mother always taught me never to have a pity party, so I never do. I'm proud to be making it. I have been doing it on my own and making it work.
I know lots of people like me, unemployed for a long time like me. And the longer we're out of work, the harder it is for us to tell them why. And of course it looks bad, but there's a story behind it, you know? I guess I just need to tell my story in a way that will make them listen.
You have to inject the human element. Meeting people. It's different when you're standing in front of John or Shirley than when you're looking at a piece of paper with a name on it called John or Shirley. It's a different ballgame. You're assessing in a different way. It requires a little empathy. You have to see the person beyond the paper.